Hello everyone and welcome back to LCS Challengers. We have first day of our second week here. The sun is shining. It is a beautiful day and I cannot wait to get started with today's matches. I'm Saradon, joined here with Mazel and Beatdown Boulevard. Beat, honestly, being the Canadians here, normally it's really cold, but ooh, it is hot outside today.
It's funny, when you said the sun was shining, I did a quick little look just to make sure it is here too. And yeah, we got a really hot day going on here because that's the thing about the East Coast in general, Sierra. High highs, low lows, but people only want to talk about the snow in Canada.
I mean, considering it has snowed in like May before when the rest of the world is enjoying the sun,
Yeah,
I mean,
it has happened.
I feel like there is ample room to complain there. Mazel, you're not one to necessarily complain about the cold. You might be complaining about weather for other reasons.
Maybe a little bit, you know, a little bit of rain, a little bit of sunshine here and there in LA. But I will say I'm between the Canadian sandwich right now. But I am French.
Watch out.
So you have
Quick,
to like
push 'em
welcome
in.
me in to your fold to some extent, right? Isn't that what Canadians
Here, help
do?
me out.
Wait,
We gotta push him in.
do that.
That's the wrong
Other way. Other way. This is the Canadian welcome, Lennon.
I'm scared. Wait, is it supposed to be nice? Is it like a nice hug?
Yeah, it's like a hug
Canadian?
almost.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm not scared anymore.
It's very different than the Gordon Ramsay sandwich, you know, but we'll wait
I would
a couple
hope so.
hours. Maybe we'll go down that route. But hey, the second week, I missed the first week, and then catching up on everything that was going down. I mean, it seems like we started off on a banger. Honestly, Mazel, with how things have been shaking up, I knew Summer was going to be really excited heading into things. There's definitely a couple things here that are very atypical as we see the standings. TLC at this 5-1. Not surprised. I would have seen that from a mile away. But it's really exciting to see where other teams are falling, especially with DSG. That is a hot premiere with that 4-2.
Yeah, I think it was huge to see them kind of end their week with a 2-0. I know they were gunning for it all weekend long. They were coming up with 1-1. So it was nice to see that culmination for DSG coming into the league. Having, I called it the infinity breakfast of teams. And the fact that they were able to kind of pull out a positive record. Still have to give those shout outs to TLC. But I love that AOE and EGC are in the mix. We finally get the EGC that was promised. And it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, it's our first look at the EGC team as well. They're finally together, and at the end of week 1, 4-2 is not a bad start.
My thing too, and I'm looking more at the bottom end of it, especially seeing Fear. When we had our spring split, obviously rosters have changed quite a bit. There has been changes, so it's not exactly like we're looking at all the same players. But Fear was one of those teams that we were kind of doubting our provisional teams going into spring, and Fear just shot all of our expectations through the roof. And then now that has been, I think, one of the surprises too, is seeing them on the lower end of the standings, as whereas also seeing AOE on the higher end. Though honestly, congratulations to the Beat.
Absolutely. I mean, AOE is a team that's very interesting to me, especially because of the fact that they were a team who we saw them always make their decisions, and all that decisiveness we saw through Winnie. Winnie is out of the picture. Now they have Will, our summer child, as we call him, since he only plays in the summer. And with Breezy also added to the mix, it feels like they haven't missed a beat. And that's something I'm really excited about, especially as we're going into our first match.
Don't blame him for playing during the summertime. You get to stay inside with a nice, cool AC.
True.
And then you still get the nice summer vibes of seeing the sun out your window. Hey, I respect. That is a great time. But with our first week of competition, we also got to see some fantastic plays. There is a Twitter poll to see which ones were among the top, and we have it down to our final 2 plays. And of course, we're going to have the opportunity to vote on them in the Twitch chat. So get your voting fingers ready and check out our first play here coming out from Quacker.
Though Lens doesn't have flash. Can Supernova get on top of the carry or just get into the pit and go for the steal? Music does not get in there. It's secured for wildcard. Now Duo King is deep in enemy territory, trying to be that front line. Big engage from Quacker, but Lens is relatively untouched.
It's going to do his damage.
Supernova though, they got 2 to start things off. Lens can't get the damage down. Music
just keeps hitting him.
Supernova are winning the fight. That's an ace.
And Sketchy just keeps the deal.
Oh, what a great week one, Mazel.
That was good.
That was a game-winning play too. That's incredible.
Yeah, I love the mechanics on a late game Cassante where you just get to pick apart the team when you're going all out. It feels good because it fits the mantra, but also seeing Quacker pop off is just a special place.
100%. Of course, we do have another top play though. And for our second one, competing against Quacker's play, well, this one is coming out from Mir.
As the Umbro Glaive completed. Went for a very aggressive lethality build. Another Emperor's Divide onto APA.
Oh, look who's
The
here.
ultimate. Now the follow-up from Yuji trying to lock down this Nautilus, but he's very tanky. Maybe Winston will be enough to turn the play. It's traded. Mid laner for jungler, but Mir is a monster. Double kill on the Graves. Chasing onto Winsome with no summoner spells, and that is a triple kill to Team Liquid's jungler.
You're on both of those plays? Is it
No.
you're influencing the match somehow where these top plays coming out?
Me and Kangas
didn't
are
get
just
the
like
Rizzler.
that. That's all you know. Yeah, true. It's true. You know, I'm just like that. But real quick, you get to vote for who you think is the play of the week. If you don't vote Quacker's play, you're trolling. You're wrong. Oh, Mir was MVP. His play was so good. Shut up.
I was gonna
Vote for
say.
Quacker. Vote for Quacker.
Come on, bro. Did you
No.
see his grades?
No. Nah.
My dude. Mir's an MVP for a reason.
He is,
We've
he
seen
is.
it already.
But it's Quacker.
Whatever way that you're voting, you can vote in Twitch chat now. We're going to be able to pop back in a few minutes to find out which is the best play of the week, and it will be a vote from this channel and the Path to LCS channel. So hey, if you're as passionate about a play as Beat is, you can actually just go and vote in both channels right now, and there's going to be some awesome matches
Quacker.
happening over there. So, you know, it's a 2-for-1. It's a 2-for-1. But a lot of exciting things happening in our channels and, of course, going on in summer. I'm talking about the fact that we can support the teams, support the players, and support NA development with the new sub button as well. Get some of the cutest emotes out there on Twitch. And if you're not sold, well, maybe this will sell ya.
Has this ever happened to you? What about this? As gamers, these sorts of things happen all the time, which is why we made LCS Challengers League emotes. Impress your friends. Stop sucking. Make better choices.
Since subscribing to LCS_Challengers, my confidence has never been higher.
And with 3 easy clicks, yours can too. Plus, you'll be directly supporting the players in the league.
So what are you waiting for? Come join us!
I'm just saying, I subbed to the channel, and all of a sudden for breakfast this morning, I had hash browns with broccoli and egg whites, and
Damn.
Okay.
All right.
A little bit of a level up. I
like
will just say it's so awesome that we do get to support our teams and players. Again,
Yes.
half of the revenue goes to them, but specifically also, maybe we get like a behind the scenes cut for subs of the other side of that video where Kangas is just running around like a madman in some random park and people are watching him.
I would
think
pay
it'd be
actual
hilarious.
money for that.
you can pay $4.99 on Twitch as well. Get emotes if you're interested, B.
That's true. I mean, I'm sub to the channel, but like, I want the Kangas background. I want to know what he's doing when he's making these videos. I
There's
need to see
animated emotes, right? I think that we can pull that up as one of them, just him running around the park.
that. Ooh, something for
Hey.
the future.
Exactly. Well, we talked about the play of the week, and drum roll, everybody has voted. We have our play of the week in, and Beat, I'm gonna let you announce this one.
Oh, you're sick. How could you? Whatever. I guess it's Mir who wins
Let's
play of the week.
go.
Look, this play was good. It was really nice, especially because Mir played Graves for like the first time in forever. He just picked it in draft. He OPGG'd his build, but he ended up playing very well. It's a good play, but Quacker
sound
won the game for
salty.
his team. I am salty.
You sound a
Twitch
little
chat,
salty.
we were supposed to be cool. What happened?
I'm just saying, once you start flying that MVP round, things get a little bit different beat down. All right, that's all I'm
bias.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
Bias.
Maybe when Quacker gets a couple more of those plays under his wing, maybe then we'll get the bias voting
Maybe,
going
maybe.
in his direction.
See what
all
you
right?
did there, Sierra.
Yeah, thank you. I was proud of that. But hey, opportunity for players today to try and contend for the top players. I mean, this is a broadcast. We do have matches ahead of us. It isn't just us,
Wait,
you know,
really?
chatting on the desk. I know, right? Amazing. But we're going to be starting things off with AOE going up against FlyQuest Challengers. AOE coming out of the gate strong. Let's see how they compete going up against one of the Challengers teams. Later on, it'll be TLC. I mean, top of the leaderboard right now, going up against Cincinnati Fear. Ending off the day with Maryville University going up against Supernova. So we have a jam-packed schedule for everybody here. And of course, if you don't see your favorite team here, make sure to pull up the Path to LCS channel because they'll be throwing down over there. And you should just have both up anyways because that is very cool and based of everybody here.
And then you get both sets of emotes.
Right.
I think you have to pay twice for that one, but yeah.
But twice as much support for the players.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about the players you'll be supporting and talk about our team. So first up, we have FlyQuest Challengers. Looking back at spring, I mean, I feel like this was a roster to be really hyped for. They did have a change coming on into summer, but honestly, it's a change that I'm actually really excited for still because Faisal, I think, was fantastic last split.
Oh, me too. Faisal was definitely a standout player on Cincinnati Fear. We know his addition to this team really puts FlyQuest in championship potential here. They are my favorites at the moment here to win it all, even though they did have a rough matchup into against TLC like we saw in Mir's winning clip for the week. Shout out to Twitch chat. But overall, this is a team that's very exciting to watch because they still have a core that we've been following pretty closely for either a long time when we look at UG and Spirax or for a less amount of time in Masu and Winsome.
Yeah, and I love too that we've gotten to see the core adapt. And one of the mazes of that core too has been Yuji. And of course, him and Masu did get to go boot camp in Korea. And then Mazel, that means that we got the trifecta challenger here.
We did. He finally did it in the off season. He was able to secure his final major region challenger achievement at least, and so he's knocked out all of them. You see the Chad glasses, you see the explosion. He's walking away from getting all the challengers. You see the tweet there as well, just for confirmation. But this guy, he is consistently getting MVP nominations. He is consistently being a front runner in our league for high KDAs in jungle, high aggression, but also working out. And the way that FlyQuest adapted at the end of last split is kind of continuing off into this one, even with some of the changes to the roster.
Back to, I just have to say, Mazel, this was like the best graphic design that I've seen out there. Like, if you decide
Clearly it's your passion.
broadcasting isn't
don't mind
necessarily
me,
your
you know,
path,
don't
like,
mind me.
I think you have a very viable career here.
Graphic design is my passion.
There it is.
Congratulations to Yuji for that one. I mean, that is just a cool accomplishment list to have, to just say that you're challenger in all the major regions. So kudos to him. That is definitely worth a graphic with the explosion on it. But going on for today, it's going to be FlyQuest Challengers taking on AOE. AOE on their first week, I feel like they were kind of underrated a little bit, beat, and they got a pretty respectable record, going 50% of their games. I mean, that's a great start.
Yeah, and I touched on it on the top of the show, how this is a team that I expected to have struggles earlier on, but with Will and Breezy subbing in immediately for SkyTech and Winnie, they've just kind of picked up where they left off. We're even seeing Darkwings look a little better than he did in the last split, and this is definitely a team I'm very excited about.
Especially too, last week when y'all got to talk to Will, he talked about too the changes coming into this team have actually been really vocal in leading in-game conversations, and that they're just starting to come together. They've only just started really doing their scrims, so it'll be really exciting to see going on forward for AOE Gold where exactly they're gonna land, knowing that there is this much potential with the team, especially too when we're talking about potential with Will, our summer child here. We're gonna talk a little bit more about him, but let's let him talk about himself first and hear what he had to say from the interview last week.
Like it's kind of do or die for LCS. Like, it's my whole career, you know? Like, if I don't make it LCS, I really have nothing else to live for.
The only option then, what kind of steps are we expected to see from Will this summer? You know, do you have a goal set in mind for this split?
I think mainly just showing off how good I can play. You know, another big thing for me was just making my teammates as good as possible, as good as I can make them during the split, and then making sure I play individually the best I can, so it looks the best going into next year.
Will, our summer child, I mean, that is some dedication there too. I mean, this kid's going LCS or like nothing. So
LCS
I'm
or
really
bust.
excited. Exactly. So Beat, I'm so excited to see then into this split how that's going to translate, because you know that motivation and that inspiration for him is there, and it's exciting to see it play out on the Rift.
Yeah, there are a couple of players who have that sentiment where this is going to be their last hurrah, their last opportunity to make that push for LCS. So there's a lot of motivation going on here in Summer Split in our Challengers League, and Will's just one of many examples that we have. And he's a player who's shown a lot of promise, who seems to be fitting in quite well with AOE, and I find it promising that he's saying that this is just the beginning for them. They still have stuff to work on, improve, and it's a good look.
That's the thing, is you get to see a lot of the growth from Will when we do get to see him. We got to see it for 100 Thieves, and we see a lot of those big aggressive meta picks being his staple. But it's about how he's trying to cohese with the rest of the team here on AOE, because he still will be that standout star. He will be the thing that leads the charge, at least for the most part, for AOE, but he's got to have a lot of support with that. Priority in lanes, things like that will be a commonality that AOE need to find.
Especially too when we're talking with Will, talking about not only just wanting to improve himself out here, but improve the whole team, lift the whole team up. So I feel like too, that's just really exciting to see that someone who's so fixated on fixing himself and making himself better, but making sure that does translate over to the whole team here, Beat.
Yeah, and it's good to see, and it's really exciting when you think about who he is matching up against. Like, Will is a player who, when we've seen, like Mazel said, him spend time in the league, he improves, he has so much potential, and that's why he's someone we're excited about. He's playing into Yuji, another player who we know is really good at early facilitating and setting up his team for success during the laning phase. So it's going to be exciting to see how they match up. I mean, we got plenty of examples of Yuji himself and how he's able to find these early plays, get this early gold, and get the ball rolling for FlyQuest as a whole.
Yeah, and that'll be really exciting to see as a matchup as we get to check out Yuji's gameplay, see how all that shakes up. But Yuji has been, when we're talking about that FlyQuest core, someone who has been around on FlyQuest Challengers and previously FlyQuest Academy, and has really just been a standout here, Marcel.
Yeah, you heard earlier we were talking about him getting the MVP considerations consistently, but it's also him just consistently finding advantages for FlyQuest. There's a reason why he has been a commitment for FlyQuest for so long now,
Right.
And they will continue to build around him because they feel like he could be the next generation of jungler.
And that's so exciting, seeing this next generation talent, because when we're looking at this tier 2, that's what people are looking to level up to be. That is the next step. This is players that are looking to improve their craft and go on forward and show us what they got.
And this is something you heard us say a lot in spring, and I'm sorry if you're sick of it, but we're going to say it in summer too. This is a developmental league. This is what it's all about here in Challengers League. It's about improving yourself as a player, trying to get to that next level in the LCS, like so many players that we've talked about are trying to aspire to.
And the fact that both of these teams are sitting on a 3-3 record, it'll be fun to see them square off. And we're not going to have to wait for too long. Our draft is ready, the match right after. So I'm going to send you two off to draft and see you later.
All right. Well, we are going to be kicking off this wonderful action-packed day here, Beatdown.
Yes.
FlyQuest Challengers on the blue side and AOE on the red side for game number 1. Remember, it is a best of 2 format, so it should be a lot of fun. And you all right there, buddy?
I'm good. I tried really hard to hold back that sneeze. You'll never understand the effort I went through, but it's okay because we're in the
Need
game.
a screenshot
No,
of
no.
your face right before
No,
that
don't say
happened.
that, because now people are going to look for
Somebody.
it. No, not like this. Let's talk about the game, the matchup. Yuji.
We're still waiting on picks, man.
No, we
what do
can
you
talk
want?
about
What
the
do you want,
stories,
huh?
Lennon.
What
This
do
is
you
what
want? I
it's
want
all
to talk
about.
about your sneeze.
No, we could talk about Masu. You remember him?
I
He was.
do remember
We
Masu.
gave him a nod as well for
I am a
MVP
member.
last split. You were one of the ones who did. I gave him a nod. He's a player who's super exciting, as well as we look at the matchup there on the bottom side of the map. I mean, it's been almost a year since Masu joined competitive play. Period. I'm not talking about tier 3. I'm not talking about tier 2. Competitive play as a whole. He just was brought in basically off the solo queue ladder, and since then, he's just impressed.
Yeah, it's been incredible. You've heard the stories of him playing on Wi-Fi, remote, on a server that's halfway around the country from him. There's so many times where we've seen this guy mechanically play so well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why he's continuously propped up. There's a reason why, again, like Yuji, it's a piece that FlyQuest feel confident and comfortable building around. Now, the growth comes with Winsome and how Winsome kind of affects that relationship in that duo. But that is a key question that we're going to continuously look at for FlyQuest as the season goes on. Hopefully, we'll be getting into draft here pretty soon. And get all that underway for you all. But until then, we got to look at the other side because we were talking about Will. We were talking about kind of priority he needed in lanes. So that comes with the conversation of Concept and Darkwings. What does Darkwings get to kind of facilitate any kind of early aggression from Will? And does Concept get his Garrett again? Do we see some crazy backdoors? What do we get at this point as draft will be kicking off here?
Yeah, there is a lot of questions. I mean, especially being on the red side, I think Darkwings has shown still solid on the mages. He had a good Ari game. I've also liked his Gragas, even from what we saw in spring. Even though he was struggling, that was a pick where I thought he was pretty solid. And that ends up being a pretty common pick that avoids bans. I think overall, just because there are so many stronger things that you need to be getting rid of. Things like Yumi, things like Milio. I haven't seen those things get banned yet.
True.
Hopefully I do.
True.
But you get where I'm going with this.
In the LPL, we've been seeing Milio and Yumi banned on blue side a lot of times. Just because you've got to get rid of those champions. We do see another big prio in this patch, though. The NACL does get banned away. There's the Milio ban by AOE. Still some big picks left on the table. But I also like that Aphelios ban towards Lynx and the Vi ban towards Will. So that facilitation, that kind of single target setup, not exactly there yet.
Wow. Really early Garen ban. I wonder if AOE are just going to have to ban.
Did you watch when he back?
But this is good because, wow. So that kind of feels bad. Like, you got to ban Yumi and Milio there on red side. So it's a little unlucky. And they're even going to take away the Gragas too, which ends up being a strong pick. They can flex it all across the board. And honestly, it's a good pick now for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. A lot of flexibility there, but also just a lot of strength. I've been really appreciating the Gragas. You can go a little bit of AP with that Everfrost build. You can also go a little bit tanky too. And again, it just provides you so much flexibility and so much spacing in team fights. The amount of times I've seen a carry get caught up by a wayward cask, it's actually insane. Now, you do have a power couple locked in. It's not the Lovers duo, but it is the Rakan and the Annie for AoE. Insta-lock in that duo here. As it's open, it's ready to go. You're electrically charged at this point as you've got the Zeri and the Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, I was really thinking we saw Zeyzal bring out the Janna into the Rakan. I thought it was great and would have liked to see that come through from Winsome. But at the end of the day, Enchantress support still in the Lulu. Zeri Lulu, because the Yumi is banned, is very strong. You're looking to scale, you're looking to play. And that Lovers duo has been just sacrificed overall, which I'm kind of glad because I wouldn't have been the biggest fan of Xayah. I know some places, some teams, LPL, LCK play it. I mean, things like Jinx, things like Zeri, especially in a scrappy region like North America, I find do better.
I always like the Jinx. We've actually seen the Jinx as a response into Aphelios a lot of the time in this patch, because if you get running with that excited nature, you can really just steamroll something of a team fight. Now, we are in second phase. We have the Viego ban towards Will, because why not? We gotta get some of those aggressive jugglers out of there. But we also have a little bit of focus towards Faisal or AoE with the Olaf ban. A bit of respect.
Yeah, I think just for the core we've already seen, Olaf would have been really good into AoE. So I think it's really smart to take away the Kha'Zix as well. A lot of junglers are being taken off the board at the moment here because neither Will nor Yuji, at least so far, have really locked in anything, which is a good thing. So overall, what I'm really looking for AoE side especially, I mean, you have your Engage, you have your CC, just pick a big old beefy tank there on 4, and then save counter pick for your boy Darkwings.
Try to get something going for that mid lane. Again, priority for Will is so key. But on the other side, either for Yuji, you also want to try to get some strength. In terms of that resisting solo lane, you're not going to have that counter pick. AoE's going to have that one, obviously. But you do have a lot of strength to build around with the Zeri Yumi combo.
Yeah.
I do want to see some bridging, though. I want to see some early game antics for them set up in the draft, because the Poppy on the other side will be looking for a little bit of aggression.
That's interesting because I'm pretty sure we've seen Concept play Poppy in the top lane.
Yeah.
It does leave things up in the air for where this is going, and you do give that opportunity for Will to certainly have that counter pick going. As for FlyQuest, hey, they gotta pick something here. You're kind of lacking in the engage department, especially with the Kindred pick. It's a strong champ at the moment here, but
OP.
something. Okay, there you.
OP.
I mean, speaking of OP, it's the Cassante coming through, which I mean, there's a lot of dashes. I'm gonna be real. So Poppy's steadfast presence goes kind of crazy here for AOE.
It does work out pretty well. Also, the keeper's verdict. It's gonna be so big. I just want to see where this Poppy's gonna be going. I've been seeing it a lot in jungle in the LPL, but I would love it for Concept just because of the strength that Concept has in a side lane. And there it is. We get the response. We get the aggression. We get the beast in the jungle. Rek'Sai for Will.
Yeah, I mean, so far it hasn't been doing that great in Challengers League, but it is a good champion, guys. I promise. The big thing there, especially that cost UG when they played TLC, was no prio lanes. This time around, though, you have good lane matchups for the most part here. It's going to be a little easier for Will to navigate this early game, and then when it comes to actual fighting, skirmishing, things like that, Rek'Sai, Annie, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's pretty nice, I would say. I love that combo, but it's about execution with a lot of those duos.
Right.
And it's a lot about finding the timing windows because Yuji will also be looking for those marks. He's going to be playing a very invasive jungler as well. And he will have a lot of strength coming out of his solo lanes. You're looking at Masu and Winsome. They're just chilling bot lane. You probably will not see them unless Lynx and Breezy find a crazy engage. But it will be, for both of these sides, a lot about the top trios.
Yeah, my concern for FlyQuest and the comp they have right here, Lennon, is the fact that your big front line really is the Cassante. Spirax likely going the AP route. You already see the Sapphire Crystal start for him there. So it means it's going to be more of a bruiser build coming through here and not as much CC as maybe you want. Because you look at AoE's comp, I'm looking at Breezy, I'm looking at Darklings, I'm looking at Will, maybe even Concept. Their whole life's goal is to kill Masu. They said, first year in comp Wonder Kid? Sorry, bro. Like, they're coming right for him. They want him. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on FlyQuest and how they navigate these team fights later on, especially Spirax, who has that big disengage tool with the exploding cast to really keep FlyQuest in these ones, get the DPS coming through here, because they want these fights to go long, nice and slow, all about damage per second. AoE, they're trying to pop people like balloons.
Speaking of popping balloons, though, you should pop the balloon that is chatting in Twitch chat. Spam and chat who you think's going to win. AoE for AoE Gold or FlyC for FlyQuest Challengers. Right now, you got a lot of Fly fam out there. But not going to find any AoE love. Just there we go. There's the masses.
Surely.
But I do want to hone in a little bit because we have that UG Will matchup that we were talking about so much. UG always in contention for the MVP spot. Will, the summer child, coming in to try to make a name, trying to grow for himself. But they are both leading candidates for these teams. And the fact that we get this kind of matchup coming into this game number one is, first of all, just written in the script. But it is seriously putting their hands on check right now.
It is, and especially Will, gonna have a little more agency. Rek'Sai really good at skirmishing these early levels, especially when your mid laner has that point and click stun in the Annie. So eyes on them to see, eyes on them and their mid laners to see how these skirmishes are going to go, especially if there is a fight for that first Scuttle Crab, the mark. We're gonna see if UG is able to get a little lucky with where that first one is gonna spawn.
See what RNG has giveth to FlyQuest at this point. Both junglers are going to be starting top to bot, so maybe a little bit more focused towards this bot side than we initially had planned. Obviously, top side is a little bit of a noodle fight earlier on, but their effect later in the team fights will be important. This is, though, also important. Will getting something of a forward advance onto UG and up in his jungle pathing. Won't be able to find the red. Will be on this ward. Knows that UG's over the wall.
Yeah, Will sees him. Will does not know that UG sees him as well, but the thing is, Lynx and Breezy actually got that push at level 1, which usually with double range, you favor Masu and Winsome with what they have, but that means Will can go here, not worry about Masu and Winsome rotating just yet, but he's not actually going to get anything for it, which is the thing that's a little unlucky, because now he finds himself falling behind. UG has got that bit of a farm lead. He can hover the bot lane, and he can go for that recall if he wants to get on the map first.
He is on that ward, both junglers.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out their pacings, but Will has spent a lot of time in UG's jungle. They will end up meeting over the Scuttle
It
Crab,
is the
which
mark.
RNG says it's time to fight because it's Yuji's first mark.
Yeah, and the wave has bounced back, actually. Breezy's still going to show up. They have that
Bill's
first
actually
move.
not going for it.
Oh, they're not going to do it, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Bit of a preemptive move from bot lane priority.
Yeah, exactly. They crashed a pretty decent-sized wave. Lynx could not afford to miss that so early in the game, so they just opt to back away from it. It is a big win for Yuji as he gets that first Hunter's mark coming through here, and he's going to reset and spend his gold. Will, again, we're seeing the price of that early invade and the benefit of the early vision FlyQuest laid out so they can sniff him out.
He at least got some chicky nuggies when he was on his trek, so in the long run he'll have a little bit more to give, but still needing to get that clear going as Yuji's immediately going to the other side to try to get the Scuttle Crab, try to get even more for himself, because especially the way that both these compositions are laying out, and as we're going to be getting level 6s for the solo lanes, the in-between moments count even more so, and having a little bit of vision, having some of that information is so important.
Right, and we're seeing Will just now getting to some of these respawn camps. Still hasn't spent any gold though, meaning there's going to be an opening for FlyQuest, especially with their bot lane having back spent some gold themselves to immediately go for that first dragon. Start stacking up some of these objectives here, get some wins on the board.
Do get first dragon with maybe some more priority given by FlyQuest for that one. They've actually had a decent consistent push after those first couple levels down in bot lane, which has let them play with Yuji towards that side of the map. We will be getting that cross side from both junglers back down towards the bottom lane, so renewed focus that way beat down.
That's right, and we're seeing the reset. Will's gotten the Iron Spike Whip, which is a pretty good back for the builders of Gore Drinker, Stride Breaker, which is what we'll be going towards here. And he's going to be back towards this bottom side of the map. We see the gold is spent on both sides. We talk about these junglers and the early game plans so far. It hasn't amounted to very much skirmishing, but my eyes are still going to be on this Rex side. You want to get the ball rolling just a little bit. We've talked to junglers. I mean, ask Rafa, ask, you know, Visions, if you're a real OG, what it's like to play Rek'Sai from behind. They'll all tell you the same thing. It sucks.
It ain't fun. We're going to get a bit of a 3v3 down here in the bottom lane, though. Yuji takes that early strike onto Will, and Will immediately pulls out of there. Not going to be the aggressive Rek'Sai this time around, just trying to buy some time. A predator in wait.
All right, bot lane has not been going well in terms of priority for the side of AOE, and this is what we saw Yuji struggle with last week when he was piloting the Rek'Sai. And it just means that Yuji is the one who has control over this neutral territory. The river here coming through.
Got level 6 now for Darkwings. There are some moves now.
No, nothing's really going to come of it, though. Things
Well,
are
I mean,
a lot.
in the long run, right? You have that duo. You have that combo. The tunnel into the Tibbers combo has to be pulled for AoE now that we've hit level 6.
It does, but Lennon, I'm going to be real with you. I wanted more fighting at this point, especially when I saw Annie
That's not the meta right now.
I don't care what the meta is. I want skirmishing. I want people to throw hands.
At least we've had some chess being played between Yuji and Will. Maybe a little bit one-sided at this point since Yuji has gotten a lot of the commanding leads in that department. We'll get that Scuttle Crab taken down here, and the mark spawns. So Yuji with a third mark already at 7 minutes into the game.
And not a single kill has come through. That 4th mark spike is going to be so big as Yuji's just continuing to stack the gold. Still has that bit of a lead to play with here and is just consistently on the map with more gold at all times. This is still, we're seeing Will pay for that time he spent in Yuji's jungle early on that they were able to track him for. And it just means that AoE's options, they're limited right now.
I was interested with how many times we've seen bot lane being pushed by FlyQuest if Dragon was going to become a priority for Fly. But it looks like they just want a little bit of map control. They've really just been looking for these marks, and Will hasn't really had an answer just yet. And we do have Rift Herald now coming up, so double options. Darkwings in the mid lane, though, in a bit of trouble. Does get that Tibbers combo down. Very close. Spyrax flashes under tower, but can't get the connection. And Will smells blood. He flashes his own. Is this first blood to AoE, and it goes straight to Will's hungry, hungry mouth.
Oh, that has got to feel so good there, Spyrax. That's a little deep, bro. You don't need to get the kill. Forcing Darkwings under his turret is good enough. But with him out of the picture, we see Yuji being the one to start up the Herald, which I find interesting. Fact is, you have your support here. You know Zeri's bot side. They're just going to go ahead and let this one go. They don't want to fight for it. Maybe Concept is calling it off because he's too low on mana. But for a comp like FlyQuest or late game is your friend, something you're really excited to play for with that double marksman comp, I was hoping that Rift Herald was something AOE would actually try to fight for.
Yeah, we don't see that contest come through, and FlyQuest take that right away. We do see our total gold Masu still in the lead there, but having Will up there is huge. This Rek'Sai, we've already said multiple times, needs to get ahead, and he's been looking for those advantages. We do see Yuji actually coming to collapse him here with Winsome. He's being a little bit careful, does have the tunnel out, but wants to go right back in. Flash preemptively from Yuji. Here comes the quickness from Breezy. They've locked him down.
Nice.
I don't even know if he can get it off. He didn't get the Lambert's fight.
Really nice catch out there, being able to... This is a good roam from Breezy, so even though they lost out on Prio on that first early objective and the Rift Herald, they're going to get this Dragon coming through here, and Dragon stacking is something AoE can play for. That is a verifiable win con. Nice fight.
Yeah, a little bit of fighting going across every single lane. That Dragon does go over to AoE, though, so they will be able to get their stacking going.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing else is really going to come of it, though, but the kill starting to roll in for Will is a big thing. It gets him sooner than later towards that first item spike in the Stride Breaker, and that's when we're going to see him really do some damage here, and that's what we wanted to see from this player overall. What will these early game leads amass to, Lennon? And so far, they're even at 10 minutes, but it's something. They're picking up gold. They're picking up objectives.
It's just about being able to say that you're in the game, right? Like being in a decision-making position. And I think when we've seen Will have success in the past, and especially on 100 Thieves, it was having some of those combos that can lead to him getting resources early. And now he has a little bit of that. I still think FlyQuest are on the front foot, but we've been able to see that give back from AoE. And now that we got lane adjustments coming through, Rift Herald by FlyQuest popped on the bottom side to get Masu some more gold.
Yeah, lane swap has come through here. Breezy is a little slow, but Will being in the area means that it's just going to be that initial charge and everybody is going to walk away. Yuji, walk away.
Yuji,
what did I say?
You might be in a bit of trouble. He immediately pops the Lambert fight. He's not going to get CC'd through it this time, but he will just die anyways. Buys a lot of time. Spyrax blocks that Mega Death Rocket, and it's actually Breezy who gets the kill.
Yeah, well, Yuji staying a little late, a little more past his welcome. It's going to end up falling once again. We're seeing 3 kills go over here to AoE. Overall, they've actually pulled ahead in gold on the side of FlyQuest. It was because of the Rift Herald. And you do see that minor CS lead over there on Masu's side. That's the big thing that you're worried about here. As long as Lynx is even and you can use Will's tools, Breezy's tools like they've been using on Yuji onto the Zeri, that's how you win things out. There's still that burden of execution that we got to see from AoE, but that's what they have to be playing for. Otherwise, Masu can still run away with this game.
Love the Stride Breaker completion for Will as well. I saw just taking those chunky hits into Concept, but now with Will coming back onto the map, I do expect there to be some more aggression from AoE side. It feels like they're finally feeling a little bit more confident that their composition's coming online, and we'll be getting out of laning phase very shortly. The biggest worry right now is that Masu has been untouched, that he has the Trinity Force completed, and that they've gotten a bunch of plates bot lane. But AoE are still able to get that lockdown. That doesn't matter.
Right, and coordination is something we kind of touched on in the pre-show, in the pre-game there, Lennon, right? How I find it fascinating that AoE have managed to keep that coordination, keep that decisiveness we praised them so much for in team fighting in Spring. And the fact that they have that with Will joining, being that voice on the team alongside Breezy is a really exciting thing. And it does mean that I have confidence they'll be able to play this out as long as they keep the pace that they've set.
And I truly love the additions of both Will and Breezy. Breezy for more of a leadership kind of style, right? We did hear he was a pretty big driving voice when he was on CLG Challengers, but specifically being able to kind of mold with his duo in Lynx is so crucial, and Breezy just has that kind of personality. But we're not going to talk about Breezy anymore because Concept gets a last-second keeper's verdict to save his life.
All right, Concept, I need you to type in chat, not even close, and then wait, Concept, whoa.
Mad. Mysel's mad. He flashed. He got it. Solo Bolo for the top laner of FlyQuest Challengers.
You lived. You had teleport. Just leave. Come on, man. Okay,
For
well,
a penny, in for a pound.
apparently, and at least Will is here on the bottom side again. He's been reading Yuji pretty well, matching a lot of the plays he wants to make, specifically towards the spot lane. It is important that you prevent that kind of snowballing that they're trying to play for here, just because, I mean, we talk about Masu, like, he's the guy on this team.
Yeah.
And making sure that he doesn't just get light years ahead is a big thing. Okay, we're talking about this again. Lennon, look at the summoner spell. And that's not a bug. I saw it before. He has teleport. This would have been the great escape from Concept.
But honestly,
he
if he
didn't
just
escape.
keeps walking. If he just keeps walking.
That's what I mean. Walk to the tower and you win. Walk to the tower and it's over. It's safe.
okay. You know, things happen sometimes. You feel a little bit confident about yourself, but Faisal will take
guess.
that every single time you
Yeah,
give
he
it
will.
to him. He's on 2 items now in the Casante.
Wait,
and we
that's
saw what
terrifying.
Quacker could do in one of our best plays of the week. My God,
Yeah.
Faisal is going to rip him to shreds here. And again, that composition that AOE really needed to find some snowballing with, they still have that through Will. They're going to get a second dragon. Things are starting to look online for FlyQuest Challengers.
Right, and you see the lead really start to grow, and a lot of it is top side and a bit of the CS leads we see in mid and bot. It's not the worst position to be in for AOE, but falling behind is still not ideal. So we're looking at what the items are for both of these teams. I mean, Faisal being at 2 items very early is really insane, considering the fact that Concept hasn't hit 1 yet, and the fact that most people are on 1 item. So that's why it's good to play away from what AOE are trying to do. Play for dragons, because FlyQuest can't afford to ignore them for the moment here. But it also means wherever Faisal is, the play is winning, man.
It truly is. It truly is. There's not much more to say about it.
Yeah.
There's a Rift Herald, though.
He's a big
being
boy.
put down by FlyQuest in mid lane. The tower also falls. So that will be 2 towers now for FlyQuest. Almost a third, but bot lane's going a little bit haywire here in a 1v1. Darkwings versus Spyrax. And you guys, we really haven't gotten to talk about too much here in this game. They've been a little bit quiet as the mid lane wasn't the big focus so far, but these 2 guys, man, coming in at the same time into the league. Bit different trajectories so far. Spyrax with the consistent team. Darkwing's trying to make his way back and does so with AOE.
Right, and especially it's important for Darkwings after spring was, let's be honest, was not the best for him. He had some tough times, some tough matches to go through here, and the fact that we're seeing these small improvements just at the start of spring does bode very well for the rest of the split, especially with how good AOE have looked, in my opinion, relative to what I was expecting. So hopefully we see that keep up there for the mid laner of AOE.
They've definitely been going at each other's throats so far. Spyrax with that early try under the tower onto Darkwings didn't go his way, but now we have actual positioning around bottom side with AOE hovering Spyrax. He might get punished here by Will. Mega Death Rocket predict, and Spyrax tries to get the solo cast, but Will goes on a killing spree for him.
This is exactly what I want to see from AOE at this point, because now with the mid-tier 1 out of the picture, the prio FlyQuest have gotten, you can see the vision they're setting up on this bottom side of the map. These kinds of picks with that big combo of the Annie and Rek'Sai are really important, because now straight up in the 5v5, it is going to be a little difficult, especially getting prio for the dragon. Soul point. This Dragon Soul is what AOE are playing towards here, and it's going to be really important that they can get whatever advantages they can before the dragon pops up.
Yeah, I mean, that Mountain Soul is going to be so good for
Game
AOE.
changing.
Huge stuff. So they have set themselves up for that. Even though they are at a deficit, they are stacking towards their style of win condition. Also, maybe trying to... Oh, just went around the corner. Well, the back comes through for UG. Tower goes down in bottom side for FlyQuest. They will continue to stack up this lead. Now there are no outer defensive structures for AOE.
Yeah, this is a little tough. We've got 3 turrets to 0. FlyQuest really have the run of the map as a result of that. And soon, I want to see... We're still 2 minutes away from the Drake. Soon, I want to see AOE make a play. Drop a couple people to a side lane and start picking up some of this really easy gold before the dragon pops up, because we're getting close to some item spikes here. Lynx especially really want him at 2 items before this next Drake comes up. Masu's already got the Runon's Hurricane, which means he's online and he's ready to fight. So getting your AD carry to that position is going to be crucial.
Yeah, a 3-item spike is definitely where it's like, oh my god, the Gundam has come online. But 2 items, especially for Zeri, feels so much better in these team fights. With that Runans, you get a little bit of AoE. Team fights just feel that much better. I do like the Kraken Slayer, but you're still sitting on a bit of item differentials for AoE if they're looking to take these fights. And we have that dragon in about 1:10. If they want to continue towards that win condition, they will need to be point and present to fight those every single time.
And the only window they had was the top side. They didn't want to go for the dive onto Spyrax. The vision he laid down ended up saving him there. So that extra bit of gold isn't coming through. I'm not quite sure how close Lynx is to what I think is going to be the IE. But right now, FlyQuest are making a move.
Oh, he gets polymorph during the middle of the Keeper's Verdict. And that's just concept going down to Yuji. Huge stuff on the combination from FlyQuest, and that decisiveness comes to bear.
Yeah, we needed AoE to make a pick, but instead it's going to be FlyQuest. Masu's cutting the wave. This is dangerous, but they still have the numbers in their favor, trying to prevent them from taking the turret.
I love this.
And they'll succeed.
They're playing so aggressive. Spyrax will hit that spacing ulti. And Breezy trying to make it out will preemptively flash Dark Wings around the corner, but can't get to help his team. And Breezy might make it out with that quickness. Boy, he fast.
Oh, all right, then he manages to walk away from this one. Summoner's blown, time wasted, and it means that AoE should let this dragon go. They're no longer in a position to fight it. At this point, all in topside. You need a turret down, Lennon. Some easy gold in your pockets, a win. And that's what we're looking at on the minimap here as the soul point is denied for AoE.
Really good turn in momentum. Again, buying even more time for FlyQuest to get everybody committing AoE towards Spyrax, though. He has borne the brunt of the ire of AoE, and he might get it even more. There's that Void Rush. Will is on a rampage. 4-0 on this Rek'Sai. What a performance from this guy.
And a lot of gold just means there's that much pressure on him to be able to make use of it, get the kills, continue making the plays. And we do see a turret go down, cutting down this gold lead a little bit here, but AoE are still in dire straits. You really wanted that Mountain Soul point to be able to threaten a play on the other side of the map, maybe even getting the soul. But now they're just going to have to settle for picking up gold where they can across the map, continuously making plays around Will, who is super fed, so that you can set yourself up for the next dragon fight, because Soul's still very playable for this team.
Honestly, I'm still waiting for second item completion for Will as well. You already got it for Yuji, but that'll be very, very important to kind of keep an eye on as we go forward. There's not an objective for them to fight over anytime soon. I feel like FlyQuest just want to try to get some vision control around the map, but right now AoE are still looking for as many picks as possible.
Something interesting that I like that Lynx is going for here, instead of what we sometimes see to be the Gale Force, he's going for the Infinity Edge. Aggressive, a lot of damage, not many people really trying to jump on you on the FlyQuest side, but I still, except for the Cassante, so I like the decision here. Just make sure you're getting as much DPS as possible, and it makes that second item spike just a little bit harder than if he went for something like the Gale Force here. And Lynx is a player who we see team fight very well. He was one of the better AD carries in spring, especially as far as provisional teams went. So I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do in these fights, and if he can actually avoid that damage.
To be able to have those quick feet as well as quick mechanics. It's going to be so important. Yeah, dancing shoes. I hope they're spiffy. As I'm looking at now is the way that AoE approaches the next couple minutes is so crucial, because you are at the point where you have Will, a very strong forward point. We've talked so much about him and the way that AoE find advantages. It works so well to have Will in a point of power, but FlyQuest just feels so ruthless right now. They feel like they could force the hand of this Baron and make AoE come and answer.
Yeah, they should. It's going to be really easy. You get Darkling's teleport out and you walk away, or they could even take the fight if they want to here. But I'm imagining it's the bait, but AoE, they're taking too long. They're pussyfooting around, going for the check here. This might actually be FlyQuest Baron.
Nice Mega Death Rocket, though. FlyQuest, it's still very early for a composition that's not necessarily tanky without Spyrax or Faisal.
Right.
They were just taking the Baron straight up with three squishy members. So that Mega Death Rocket actually makes a big difference, and AOE pull off a defensive play around the Baron.
Yeah, I find it very huge that the teleport wasn't actually used for Dark Wings. They managed to buy enough time, force them off so they could hold on to it. So really, FlyQuest go for that, and they don't get anything. It actually allows AOE a little bit more breathing room to get some gold, reset. But I mean, we're looking at this gold graph. We're seeing that AOE had that advantage for a little bit. And then it's been FlyQuest most of the time here. Remember, there's a lot of easy gold in these tier 1 turrets, so AOE with one good play could close the gap. We're just waiting to see them actually do that.
We got about a minute 35 until that next dragon, and I'm sure AOE will be there. Just wanting to send an invite potentially to FlyQuest here.
Yeah. Or maybe an uninvite.
Yeah,
hey, don't come here.
Don't come to this. There's not a party happening in front of Dragon Pit in a minute and 15 seconds. What kind of gifts would you have at an anti-dragon party?
God, maybe money, whatever's most likely to make them not come, you know? I think that's a pretty good incentive. Like, hey man, I'll pay you, just don't come. But then
just don't show up, please. Don't show your face.
Yeah.
Well, as maybe the not invite card didn't get sent to FlyQuest, they are here. They are showing up. Unfortunately, the red carpet has kind of been rolled out for them. And it's interesting to see that kind of momentum shift. FlyQuest as a whole in this game specifically has just felt like a waiting titan to some extent. They've been watching what AOE is doing, all the while working towards their end goal and waiting to give that knockout punch. And now they're feeling that confidence. They're kind of stepping up in their seat, and they're able to put this pressure on AOE.
You can see it with how deep the vision line is on AOE's blue side jungle on the bottom side. It's going to make it really hard for them to push up, actually clear up some vision, and just get some neutral vision in the river. It's going to require a big commitment, and that commitment could cost them something like the Baron. You see that posturing kind of coming through there from FlyQuest, making absolutely certain that no shenanigans are going on the top side river, and now Yuji is just going to go ahead and solo the dragon for himself. AOE get nothing for it. No trade is going to come through.
Doing a lot of damage with that Black Cleaver Trinity Force build right now for the Kindred.
Yeah.
The double marksman comp getting scarier and scarier as time goes on. But this was a fight that AOE didn't want any part of, which I find interesting when we set up that their win condition was this kind of dragon stacking. But you're starting to lose a little bit of that footing on the map, and it leads to these kinds of decisions.
And with each individual Mountain Drake that FlyQuest get, they get tankier and tankier. That's already 2, and I'm concerned to even see how much armor Faisal has at the moment here, because he's level 16, 3 items, and he's building towards either a Randuin's or what I really hope is a Frozen Heart coming through here, which would just be a great pickup there for the top laner on this Cassante.
356 armor.
That's disgusting. I hate that you said that to me.
You're welcome.
Oh my
there's
God.
also another point of power that has just come online, and we finally got the 3-item spike from Asu, but it's a Wit's End! I love it! Go with that tankiness, lending towards those kind of bruisers, airy builds we've seen crop up to some extent. But the 3rd item spike still, no doubt, a big point of power for FlyQuest.
Absolutely. And Lynx, AOE, looking like they aren't going to reach that point before a crucial fight, simply because you see FlyQuest on this top side of the map here. Top is pushed in. They're making sure that any vision AOE have, well, just straight up doesn't exist. You see Breezy trying to be cheeky, place down, oh yeah? Well, you won't pop your sweeper a second time, but they do, they will, and they do.
That's not allowed, all right? That's not allowed.
You're just typing in chat, hey, that's illegal, actually.
You guys didn't get the non-invite card and you're being... Wow, come on.
Yeah, they're actually like reporting them as we speak. And now, FlyQuest, they're just going to start the Baron.
Got the Mega Death Rocket to sniff it out. That will be dodged out. Still sees the vision on it, so Will hovering around about 6,000
far away.
FlyQuest is doing this one. Concept coming around the corner. Maybe they can pounce on the Spyrax. They are just going to take him out. So they won't go for in the pit, but they will get one pick out. 4 Baron buffs aplenty, though, for FlyQuest Challengers, unless Faisal gets caught out here. Not knocked into the wall. He is very tanky. That 356 armor is coming alive right now, but against 5 members, it doesn't matter. Put through the paper shredder of Will is Faisal.
Wow, so they do get 2 for it. 2 kills for the Baron is still a trade you're happy to take as FlyQuest Challengers. even though Will ends up picking up a shutdown here. So they get a turret on the back end of it, and it's finally an opportunity for AOE to break open the map a little bit more. It's worth noting Masu hasn't backed yet, hasn't spent the gold he earned. This could be 2 turrets for AOE.
They get excited here with Lynx, but now it's FlyQuest going for it. They've already picked up Breezy, and Darkwing's caught out waiting. Masu finally gets on the board. The Wi-Fi wizard has connected.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy pickup there with the lightning crash, and this is tough because now you have a Baron 40-second spawn timer for Darkwings.
Let's go!
Masu!
Let's go, Masu! Let's go, Masu! He's gonna get taken down. He takes one with him to the grave, but that big old shutdown goes right to Will.
Okay, I'm going to be real. I don't like that play. As much as it was very aggressive and very cool, you gave away your shutdown, so going 1-for-1 is not worth. And with the Jinx out of the picture, you don't get to take down the tier 3 turret. That could have been a bigger snowball, more gold, and less that you're giving away to AoE. So Masu, in my opinion, getting a little big for his britches there. It may not matter in the long run, but
I see hype, I get hype beat down, all right? That man wanted the smoke.
You know
he
what?
Got it. He got it.
I wouldn't ask you to change for the world, so don't worry about it. It was still
Thanks
hype.
for that, bestie.
I
It
got
was still
you.
hype, but agreed. Maybe not the most logical decision. But logics aside, we got a tier 2 tower going down and topside to Faisal.
Yeah, you have this breathing room on the map. With Masu only just getting out of spawn, kind of surprised they don't chase Faisal a little further, but regardless, they're going to go ahead and back off. Concept needs to walk his way down just to make sure that, well, what Yuji's doing can't actually happen and potentially make that play for the tier 2 turret. AoE are in a really tough spot now, even with Lynx being at 3 items.
I will say,
It's just clear. Talk to me.
the 3 items with Lord Doms is pretty huge here. Like, maybe not the most attack speed for Lynx, but as soon as you can get that damage into the right members, you're going to be chunking them. And I can appreciate that now Darkwings is on 3 items as well, the point and click setup, but also the GA for Will. So you have a little bit more of the give in these fights for AoE. And now, speaking of give, they want to take, as they're trying to take the lives of FlyQuest on the retreat here. You got the lightning crash from Masu. You got to fight back and forth. Lynx is about to get excited. That Lamb's respite, though, from Yuji was so big, and Yuji takes down Breezy. It's not a front to back any longer as a double kill came through for Spyrax. Faisal can't click out Lynx, but it's AoE on the perma back foot right now.
And that's the problem. Lynx has so much damage, but they can't blow anyone up. The Lamb's Respite ends up saving them. And with long spawn timers, they could just look to close it out.
The amount of times I've seen FlyQuest just go for the game end, it's actually insane. So many times the decisiveness of this Fly Challengers roster has bore fruit, and it looks like it might be on the precipice again. They don't have a minion wave, but they clean house yet again. Another ace for FlyQuest Challengers.
So the stalling is super important. It keeps AoE in the game, but FlyQuest, they have it all let in. The Mountain Dragon is up. They're not even going for it. Faisal's taking this turret. He does not care. This gold lead has exploded, shot up to almost 8,000, and they will finally claim their prize in the Mountain Soul Point.
I feel so bad for Will. First death of the game, sitting at 7-1, but it's just a compositional difference at this point. The timer has come up, the ticking has stopped, and FlyQuest, they are online.
And the big thing about it is usually the fact that the Lamb's Respite prevents that first kill coming through here. When some flashes away, 1 kill for Lynx or an assist, and he gets excited, he can change the game for AoE, but FlyQuest have tools to avoid it, and they've been using them well. And even though the stall is great, you got to imagine these next couple of fights are going to go the same way, barring an insane overperformance from the side of AoE. Remember, it's all about a pick. It just takes 1 for Lynx.
It does.
But that 1 has been so hard for AoE to get.
It truly has been, and now that you're getting, 4th item for Masu, you've got your 3rd now for Yuji. The double marksman composition gets oh so scary. Luckily, there's a flash from Concept to not lose his life. It will be a big cooldown utilized, and the top lane siege will continue. FlyQuest want to take down their final inhib tower.
That's right. Not many turrets left. on AOE side of the map. They can just commit
looking
basically
for
the
it, though.
whole team. They have to let in. This is going to be their last stand here in game one.
There
They gotta go
Will
for
says,
it.
let's go on the charge, but he gets immediately blocked off. Breezy was not ready to go. They also have a flanking Cassante behind them as he's trying to take the inhibs. Maybe Concept wants to take that fight, but AoE's attempt goes a bit wide.
Yeah, and it's tough. Yuji has the Lamb's Respite back off of cooldown. It's just going to make it that much harder to blow someone up. That's why they're looking for him to try and force the cooldown out. He's actually separated, so there is a play onto another
He
member.
does so much damage on the back end, though. You literally give one couple autos to him, and Will's already looking worse for wear here. Look how much damage is coming down. They're trying to catch out Faisal. They're focusing on the Cassante. Here comes the Void Rush, but Will's immediately flashing out. He's all outed. Mega Death Rocket blocked by Winsome's Wild Growth, and AoE are trying
Oh, Lynx has no mana.
hard beat down, but they can't pull anything out of it. Darkwings goes down, and that just should signal the end. Masu's looking for the plays on the Lynx. He gets one. He's on a Concept as well. Another one for FlyQuest ADC Masu. And game one to FlyQuest Challengers.
AoE did their best. They had plays in that early game, but FlyQuest, Yuji's early game plan ended up proving superior. And that's going to be game one for FlyQuest Challengers.
What a way to go. What a way to start off our day here on NACL. And FlyQuest proved that even with Rek'Sai getting so many kills earlier, they had the composition to buy time and to make it to that late game. And they did. They made it there, even with Will's attempts. And I love that we got this for game number one because there was such a big spotlight for both Yuji and Will. And we'll see how that works out for game number two beatdown. We're going to take a little break. We have a halftime bit after this one with Sierra, so we'll see you there.